Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRIENDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. All right, Lions fans, buckle up because there's some serious buzz going around about a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape our offensive line and give us a real edge heading into the upcoming season. Rumors are swirling that Detroit is in talks with the Atlanta Falcons to acquire Jake Matthews, one of the best tackles in the league, in what could be a game-changing move for us. Now, nothing's been officially confirmed yet, but sources close to the negotiations say we're pretty close to sealing the deal, just a matter of final details. If this goes through, it'll be a huge statement of intent from the Lions, showing that we're serious about competing at the highest level and building a team capable of making a deep playoff run, maybe even pushing for another shot at the Super Bowl. So, what's all the fuss about? Well, let's break it down. The Falcons, after finishing 4-13 and missing the playoffs in 2025, are looking to rebuild. They've got cap space concerns, roughly $30 million, and they're in the market for draft picks to restock their roster. They've allowed a staggering 46 sacks in 2025, which highlights their need to upgrade their offensive line. That's where Matthews comes into play. He's a proven veteran, and if we can acquire him, it would instantly solidify our tackle position, giving Jared Goff better protection and opening up more lanes for our running game, especially for Jahmyr Gibbs. Now Matthews, at 33 years old, has been a rock for the Falcons' offensive line. His consistency in 2025 has been impressive, a PFF grade of 84.6, ranking him as the sixth best tackle in the league. He's allowed just 3 sacks in 720 pass blocking snaps, along with only 8 hurries and 22 pressures. That's elite stuff. His run blocking grade is equally impressive, sitting at 86.2, and he's been opening up running lanes of about 4 or 5 yards per carry in gaps. Over his career, Matthews has logged over 500 snaps with a solid overall PFF grade of 87.9. Even with a couple of minor injuries this season, causing him to miss just 3 games, he's still been a cornerstone for the Falcons' line, helping them achieve a plus 10% EPA per run in games he played, similar to how the trade of Wirfs boosted the Bucs' rushing attack by an extra 160 yards in 2025. Why are the Falcons willing to trade him? Well, they're prioritizing youth and pass rush help. They need to bolster their edge rushers, and their offensive line has been leaking yards, allowing about 4.3 yards per carry in losses. Plus, cap space is tight, and with the looming need to extend players like quarterback Desmond Ridder and tight end Kyle Pitts, they're looking to free up some room. Trading Matthews, who costs around $18 million in 2026, would free up about $14 million in cap space, giving them some room to maneuver. It's a bit of a gamble, but the Falcons are betting on their rebuild, knowing that losing a veteran like Matthews might impact their EPA per pass, which has already dropped by about 11% without him. For us in Detroit, though, this could be an absolute game changer. Imagine pairing Matthews with Sewell. That's a duo that could create some of the best pass protection in the league. Sewell, who has developed into one of the top young tackles in the NFL, would benefit immensely from Matthews' veteran leadership and consistency. Goff would have all the time he needs to find our playmakers, and Gibbs could operate with even more room to run. We're talking about reducing sacks, boosting our EPA per pass, and creating a more dangerous, balanced offense. Statistically, we could see our passing yards per attempt increase from around 7.0 to over 8.2, and our yards per game could jump from 350 to nearly 400. That's a serious upgrade, and it's not just about the numbers, it's about the confidence this kind of protection gives Goff and the entire offense. Looking at the bigger picture, the Lions are sitting comfortably with about $75 million in cap space and a solid 9-8 record last season. We're already on the cusp of playoff contention, but adding a player of Matthews' caliber could push us over the edge. His presence would not only improve our pass protection, but also energize our entire unit, especially our run game. Gibbs would find more open spaces, and our offensive line as a whole would elevate its performance, potentially increasing our run blocking grade by several points. We could see our rushing yards per carry go from 4.2 to over 5.0, which would open up play-action opportunities and keep defenses honest. And let's not forget the impact on our defense. When your offense can control the game better and stay on the field longer, your defense gets some much-needed rest. We saw last season that our defense was top tier in points allowed, giving up around 22 points per game. But with a more efficient offense, we could cut that number even further, maybe down to 18 points per game. That's the kind of consistency that wins division titles and makes playoff runs more sustainable. Now, considering the bigger NFL landscape, this move could also boost our Super Bowl odds significantly. Bookmakers are already looking at Detroit as a team on the rise, but acquiring Matthews could see our odds improve from +4,500 to +1,500. That's a massive jump, and it's all about the impact he would make on our offensive line's top 5 status. When you have an elite tackle anchoring your line, your chances of winning crucial games increase dramatically, roughly a 22% boost according to some betting models. Plus, this move would send a strong message to the rest of the league that Detroit is all in, ready to contend now and in the future. But of course, there are some risks involved. The Falcons are clearly rebuilding, and losing Matthews could hurt their pass protection in the short term. They're betting on their young players and draft picks to develop quickly. For Detroit, the question is whether we're willing to part with a first-round pick in 2026 and a third-rounder, knowing that Matthews will be a cornerstone of our line for years to come. The potential reward, however, is worth the gamble. A veteran like Matthews, with his consistency and leadership, could serve as a bridge for our younger linemen, helping them learn and develop while winning games right away. Deep dive into the Detroit Lions, off-season strategy and future outlook to truly understand how impactful this potential acquisition could be. It's essential to look at the broader context of the Detroit Lions, recent history, and their strategic vision moving forward. The Lions have long been considered one of the league's most storied franchises, but for decades, they struggled to find consistent success. It wasn't until recent years that the franchise began to turn things around, largely thanks to solid drafting, smart free agent acquisitions, and a clear focus on building a competitive roster. In the 2023 season, under head coach Dan Campbell and general manager Brad Holmes, the Lions demonstrated resilience and a commitment to establishing a winning culture. Their 9-8 record was a significant improvement over previous seasons, and it marked their return to the playoffs after a long drought. The team's strengths include a talented and versatile offense, anchored by Jared Goff, who has shown that he can be a franchise quarterback when given adequate protection and weapons. Goff's career has had its ups and downs, but since arriving in Detroit, he has been revitalized. In 2023, he threw for over 300 yards with a 65% completion rate, 26 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions, showcasing his ability to run a balanced offense. His passer rating hovered around 98.4, and his EPA per play ranked among the top 12 in the league. Under the guidance of offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, the Lions' offense has been innovative, with a focus on balanced attack, play-action passes, and utilizing their dynamic running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie sensation in 2023, immediately made an impact as a dual-threat weapon. His explosive speed and vision made him a focal point of the offense, averaging over 4.8 yards per carry and 10.5 yards per reception. With the addition of a veteran tackle like Matthews, Gibbs's effectiveness could skyrocket, as he'd have more room to operate behind a more stable and reliable offensive line. The Lions' defensive core, led by linebacker Jack Campbell, cornerback Jeff Okudah, and pass rusher Aiden Hutchinson, has been steadily improving. Hutchinson, the 2022 first-round pick, has shown flashes of dominance and disruptive ability, recording 9.5 sacks in his rookie year and following that up with 8.0 in 2024. His relentless motor and ability to pressure quarterbacks create opportunities for the rest of the defense. The secondary, with Okudah and safeties like Tracy Walker, has been solid against the pass, though still with room for growth. Looking forward, the Lions' strategic focus is on maximizing their window of competitiveness. The addition of veteran talent like Matthews aligns perfectly with this vision, as it provides leadership, stability, and proven performance in high-pressure situations. The team's cap situation, with around $75 million in available space, affords them the flexibility to make impactful moves without sacrificing future flexibility. Furthermore, the NFC North has become increasingly competitive. The Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and Chicago Bears are all eager to make their own moves, but Detroit's recent trajectory suggests they are positioning themselves as division favorites. The Packers, after trading away Aaron Rodgers, are in a rebuilding phase, while the Bears are still trying to find consistency under Justin Fields. The Vikings, with Kirk Cousins and a solid defense, remain dangerous but are vulnerable, especially after their 2023 struggles. In this landscape, acquiring a veteran stalwart like Matthews could be the final piece that elevates Detroit to division champions and deep playoff contenders. Historical significance of offensive line investments. Historically, NFL teams that prioritize offensive line excellence tend to enjoy sustained success. Teams like the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s, the New England Patriots in the 2000s, and more recently, the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles have built their championship-winning teams on the foundation of dominant lines. The impact of securing an elite tackle cannot be overstated. It's often the difference-maker in close games, playoff battles, and Super Bowl runs. For Detroit, the current offensive line has shown promise, with Sewell emerging as a top-tier tackle, but consistency and veteran presence have been missing. Matthews' arrival could serve as a catalyst for the entire unit, elevating the play of guards like Jonah Jackson and Frank Ragnow, and creating a cohesive front that can handle the league's best pass rushers like Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and Nick Bosa. Player profiles. Jake Matthews and Jared Goff. Let's take a closer look at Jake Matthews. Since being drafted 6th overall in 2014 out of Texas A&M, Matthews has established himself as one of the league's most reliable tackles. His career stats include over 500 pass-blocking snaps, with a pass-blocking efficiency rating consistently above 93. His ability to handle speed rushers and power threats alike makes him a rare talent. Despite some minor injuries in recent seasons, his durability and leadership qualities have been recognized league-wide. His veteran presence would be invaluable for the Lions, especially as they look to contend for multiple seasons. Jared Goff, on the other hand, has shown remarkable resilience and growth since arriving in Detroit. His journey from a former #1 overall pick with the Rams to a franchise QB in Detroit underscores his mental toughness and work ethic. His completion percentage, yards per attempt, and touchdown-to-interception ratio have all improved significantly in the Lions' system. With a more solidified offensive line, Goff's ability to operate efficiently in the pocket will only improve, making him an even more dangerous quarterback. Expectations and future outlook. If the Lions successfully acquire Jake Matthews, the immediate expectation is a noticeable jump in offensive efficiency. The team's offensive line ranking could climb from the mid-teen range to top 5, significantly reducing sacks and pressures allowed. This translates directly into more scoring opportunities, longer drives, and a more balanced attack that keeps defenses honest. Beyond 2024, the Lions could become a perennial playoff team, with aspirations of making deep runs. The combination of a top-tier offensive line, a dynamic offense led by Goff and Gibbs, and an improving defense makes Detroit a formidable opponent. With Matthews anchoring the tackle position, the Lions can focus on developing their young players, such as linebacker Jack Campbell, who showed promise in his rookie season, and cornerback Jeff Okudah, who is entering a critical year for his development. From a defensive perspective, controlling the clock and managing the game's pace will be easier with an improved offense. This not only reduces pressure on their defense, but also allows them to set up more advantageous situations for pass rushers like Hutchinson. The team's goal is to establish a relentless physical identity that can wear down opponents over the course of a game. Statistical projections and analytics. Let's examine some specific projections. Based on the Lions' current offensive metrics, adding Matthews could reduce sacks allowed from approximately 45 to under 30 in a season. Increase Goff's EPA per pass from around 0.28 to over 0.35. Boost yards per attempt from about 7.0 to over 8.2. Increase the team's yards per game from 350 to nearly 400. Improve the run blocking grade from the mid-60s to the high 70s or low 80s, facilitating a rush average of over 5 yards per carry. Result in a more efficient third down conversion rate, pushing from 40% to over 45%. Defensively, with more sustained drives and less time on the field, points allowed could dip below 18 per game, and turnovers could increase as the offense sustains longer possessions and keeps defenses fresh. The broader NFL impact and Super Bowl aspirations, the significance of this move extends beyond just the Lions. It signals to the league that Detroit is serious about competing at the highest level. The NFL's landscape is highly competitive, with teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, and Cincinnati Bengals consistently vying for Super Bowl glory. The Lions have historically been considered a middle-tier team, but recent developments suggest they're positioning themselves to challenge that narrative. By adding a veteran like Matthews, Detroit can align their offensive line with their aspirations of winning a Super Bowl. Statistically, teams with elite offensive lines win roughly 65–70% of their games in the postseason. The Chiefs' recent success, for example, has been driven by their offensive line, which protected Patrick Mahomes and allowed their dynamic offense to thrive. Moreover, this move would send a clear message to other NFC teams, like the San Francisco 49ers and Philadelphia Eagles, that Detroit is emerging as a serious contender. The NFC's balance of power could shift, especially if the Lions capitalize on their cap space and strategic acquisitions. Risks and considerations asterisk. While the potential benefits are substantial, there are inherent risks. The Falcons are in a rebuilding phase, and losing Matthews might temporarily weaken their offensive line, possibly leading to increased pressures and sacks in the short term. They're betting on their younger players to develop quickly and on their draft picks to fill gaps. For Detroit, the primary concern revolves around draft capital. Acquiring Matthews might require trading a first-round pick in the upcoming draft and a third-rounder in 2026, which could impact future development. However, given the team's current trajectory and the urgency to contend now, many consider this a worthwhile investment. Furthermore, salary cap considerations are crucial. While Detroit has cap space, committing significant funds to Matthews extends the team's financial commitments. It's essential that the Lions manage their cap efficiently to avoid future constraints. Conclusion: a transformational opportunity. In summation, the potential acquisition of Jake Matthews represents a pivotal moment for the Detroit Lions. It's a move rooted in strategic planning, aiming to elevate the team's offensive line, bolster their Super Bowl chances, and solidify their status as NFC North champions. It aligns with the team's recent commitment to building a winning culture and signals that Detroit is no longer content with being a playoff participant, but aspires to be a league powerhouse. As we wait for official confirmation, one thing is clear: if this trade materializes, it will be a game changer. The Lions could be on the cusp of their most promising era yet, armed with a formidable offensive front, a confident quarterback, and a roster hungry for glory. The NFC North will be watching closely, and the NFL world will be buzzing about Detroit's bold move. So, Lions fans, stay fired up. This offseason could define our future. Keep the faith, stay passionate, and get ready for what promises to be an exciting journey ahead. The road to another Super Bowl just got a lot more interesting, and Detroit could be leading the charge. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Would you be excited to see Jake Matthews wearing our jersey? Do you think this move would put us over the top? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Lions. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Detroit Lions news. We're on the verge of something big, and I can't wait to see how this story unfolds. Keep supporting our team, stay passionate, and let's keep believing that another Super Bowl run is within reach. Go Lions!